didn't let up the pressure.
Yeah.
I think that engagement and eRa wiping after they secure Fire Giant is really what ended up costing them. So I would like to see a little bit more discipline in game number 2 from eRa Eternity. They just need to stay grouped. Their team fight potential is so strong. Vaporish, I think, is definitely getting the better end of this Hunter matchup. And when you have an ADC that can follow you up for almost anything, you just want to stick with that guy.
Yeah, it's absolutely the look for eRa Eternity. Ravon is going to be banned out. Naventic on the left-hand side, eRa Eternity on the right. And with the jungle, Robin most likely being banned out, we'll have to expand our pools to elsewhere. eRa Eternity do have ban number 2.
And I would anticipate the similar bans to game number 1, where they're just looking to eliminate the Fafnirs. And I would actually like to see a Susano ban.
Yeah.
They let Susano through the first time around, and Beast Feast was just running the town with it. It was pretty insane, actually, because he just had so much control. And while he wasn't necessarily grabbing somebody or picking up a kill every single time, it's the technical kills, like we mentioned earlier.
Yep.
Once you poke somebody out enough to where they have to back, that's all you need.
Capri Bologna, the bands of choice for Naventic. Robin is going to be banned out by eRa Eternity, looking for the secondary ban. I'm very curious to see what they're going to go for, whether it will be that Susano or not. I'd like to see the Susano banned out for sure.
I'm concerned that they might feel as though the Kern is still a big potential threat, and they don't want to try and deal with it. But considering that they have a Hunter who can definitely deal with the Kern, because Hu Yi is in a, I wouldn't say favorable matchup, but he can certainly go toe-to-toe. And we know that Vaporish can play a pretty sick Hu Yi, so I would just trust your Hunter to do his own thing.
Well, we'll figure out what ban that is for you guys in a moment. Obviously not banning Bologna twice, just a little mishap. But Chang'e will be the mid laner of choice for Naventic. And eRa Eternity does choose Kerninos, so the Bologna ban will not be... All right, we'll just go with the picks here, folks. Kerninos will be the selection for eRa Eternity. I apologize. We'll talk about the bans after the game, I suppose. But it'll be paired up with the Osiris. So, again, the Broken God making his way in the solo lane.
And I actually like that eRa Eternity took away the Osiris from Stunwave. Stunwave was a pretty big nuisance in the backline for eRa Eternity, and even though he wasn't necessarily picking up the kills, that chase down and just having an Osiris running at you non-stop is enough to cause chaos into any team.
Nox, this character, why is she so prevalent?
It's the silence. People really have been favoring the silence, and I'm a little bit concerned, however, considering that Naventic had the Chang'e Susano, which means that the Nox, the mechanical execution, is going to be absolutely flawless from Duckbot. Do I think that Duckbot is capable of that? Yes,
sure.
But the slightest misstep, and this could very easily spiral out of control.
Apologies, folks. But yeah, no, Duckbot has proven to be a player that can provide that support style play, as we saw on his Chang'e. So I think that the Nox selection here isn't so terrible. Medusa, Susano, Chang'e on the other side might be tough to really play into, but shutting down a lot of those dashes is a really good play.
I absolutely love the Athena pick, though, from eRa Eternity, because that gives them that little bit of crowd control that I think their team was kind of lacking as far as AoE crowd control was concerned. Naventic already have that available with the Chang'e, Medusa, and a Susano. Those are 3 very potent ultimates in a team fight scenario. Plus, you add an Ymir and Sun Wukong to that. This draft for Naventic is pretty sick.
Yeah, a lot of control there. eRa Eternity going to finish up their draft with Hun Bats. I like this character, really disruptive when it comes down to bursting out beads, which is exactly what Nox wants. She can grab you, and you can't beads out of it because you've already tried to get out of Fear No Evil. So that's going to help out the mid lane Nox a lot in that regard if she can get away from the Ymir.
I really like the mindset behind the Nox Athena bots selections. There's a ton of crowd control available between those gods, but when it comes to facing off against the Chang'e, Susano, and Ymir, I think that they'll have their game set out for them, because that is a very scary combination considering how much damage they can deal early on. And that's really what I want to keep an eye on, because Bradley isn't afraid of taking up that aggressive standpoint, and especially with Beast Feast, who also just wants to completely disorient Malois, I don't see Naventic trying to slow play this game in the slightest.
Not at all. Taking a look at the Kerninos, though, Vaporish was able to really just wreck everybody with the Ho Yi. Do you expect the same on the Kerninos?
I would imagine so, but Medusa, a slightly more favorable matchup as opposed to what Vaporish was facing off before. Crisis, I think, wanted a hunter that he could actually box with, and while Apollo is cool and everything, he's got the split push, and they managed to make it work at the end, it's not fun when you're constantly behind.
Not at all. Coach Killy still playing aggressive here on the Athena. Duckbot on this Nox. Watching Nox be played is so exciting for me when it gets picked in the picks and bans phase, because it's either going to do really, really well or wind up second to last on the player damage.
Well, right now, it looks like they're getting the favorable matchup, considering that they actually outcleared the Amir and Chang'e. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, just really keeping the players off of the wave, I think, was what happened there. You saw Coach Killy be very aggressive and dash towards the players and sort of got Naventic to use the abilities on the players instead of the wave.
And right now, a little bit of an invade coming through for the side of eRa Eternity, stealing away that blue buff, but they're going to be losing their speed in blue as well.
Duckbot, see, he's able to really land that tether. That's going to be one of the key components of playing this Nox character. And to see him able to do that this early on should be strong. We'll see if he can combine it with the puddle a little bit later.
And Vaporish already slightly ahead of Crisis, but nothing to really be too worried about on the side of Crisis just yet, considering that that's all you really need to pay attention to is that bluestone damage that's able to clear the way for you, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. Not really that big of a deal here in that one. You got to be careful of the bluestone. When it comes down to it, everybody really just figuring things out here. Nice aggression coming out from eRa Eternity, although not right here. Able to just take out from their own jungle. But in such an invade-heavy meta, it should be no surprise to see players group up as 3 or 4 to really look for that red buff.
And Mango Man, he's looking to take up the aggression
Stun
right
wave.
now against Stun Wave with the stun, the Tiger stun onto Malloy's, going to prevent any follow-up damage. And that was beautifully played by Stun Wave. I think if Malloy's had gotten off his Humbat smash, overhead smash, that would have been a problem.
His Humbat smash.
His Humbat,
I mean, get there. Just call it the Allied.
I had to call it, I was going to say shout-outs to Allied. He had a Humbats to his stuff.
Yeah, we'll just call it the Allied smash at this point. But really what it came down to, it's really fun to see sometimes the best defensive option is the aggressive option. Going for that stun, you know, that's what allowed that player to get out of jail, so.
Man, if that stun had connected, speaking of stuns, by Bradley, the freeze just off the mark for Mango Man, that looked like Naventic wanted to commit there.
Yeah, 100%. So eRa Eternity here on the right side, still trying to dance. And look, the junglers are still here 3 minutes in. They haven't left. This is a duo lane.
It's a second duo lane. Nothing wrong with having a secondary duo lane, though.
It's the only duo lane.
I
the
mean, they're
supports were
hanging out.
mid.
No, that was the first duo lane, was the mid lane.
Okay.
And the hunter role is now support role.
Oh.
That's why they're all by themselves, and nobody's paying them any attention, because that's what tends to happen to supports most of the time.
Pretty much. They're just getting ignored. Bradley, nice wall. Ooh, the freeze canceled out by Coach Killy's taunt. Really heads up play by the Athena.
Good reflexes. Kind of just predicting that Bradley was looking for that. And now VX taking quite a chunk of his health from that combination by Duckbot. And so far, he's done a really excellent job at ensuring that he's landing his abilities. As long as Sir Duckbot keeps this up, he'll be just fine on this Nox.
You know, it sounds so patronizing when you say, oh yeah, he's doing a good job of making sure to land his abilities, but with the Nox, it's so important. That said, everything gets landed on, but it's a Duckbot. The turnaround, well done. Mallow over the wall, Duckbot winds up with the ultimate and finds the first blood for eRa Eternity.
Yeah. Malloy's actually jumped over that wall, which is normally a really risky engage, but because of the silence from Sir Duckbot, Bradley was just unable to do anything.
That's a really good point. The fact that the Nox brings damage and utility is so scary, but also why she's so incredibly hard to play. And that's kind of what I was saying was that, look, it's SMITE. It's kind of patronizing to say, well, you make sure you land your stuff. But for the Nox, it's such a different world because her main damage is a delay that you can literally walk out of if you don't confirm the secondary ability.
Nox is actually one of the few gods in the game where it's like, did you land your kit? If yes, okay, win. If no, okay, you're dead.
Yeah.
That's typically the only two options you have. So I'm sure that somebody who's been around the scene as long as Sir Duckbot, not necessarily the console scene, but he's been playing PC prior to moving over to console, and so I'm certain that he's more than aware of just how this god works. And I mean, it's great seeing him utilize it so well.
It's really cool to see Duckpot make it into some aspect of the pro scene. He's been around, like you said, for a long, long time. My start 3 years ago, me and Kret, now a Paladins designer. Kret, we used to cast 3v3 tournaments on a website called SMITE, and he was playing the 3v3s there. You could always catch him in the community tournaments, in the Challenger Cup, just trying to do something, always posting, a big part of the community now, finally being able to jump up with the guys on Era Eternity. It's really cool seeing just what I consider just another forum nerd like me really make it into the pro scene. It's really cool to see that.
That's what we all are.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
We're all just rank nerds. That's really what it is.
Sweaty. I don't know. I'm a pretty sweaty right there, too.
Right now, I mean, my fever's up there. I'm pretty sweaty at the moment as well. But Era Eternity, no sweats for them in game number 2. Unlike game number 1, Naventic, it was back and forth, and Naventic wound up winning it after a nice team fight. But Era Eternity, this time around, I think they're a little better equipped.
Oh, what I also really love is that Naventic have been looking for the aggressive routes. It's just Bradley's been unable to find these freezes, and not even necessarily of his own accord. It's just really been Era Eternity responding so well. You've got Coach Kelly taunting him at the right moment, predicting that freeze to come through. You've got everybody.
Oh, the slow.
The ultimate is strong.
One. No, not enough damage.
Malloy's needed to connect with that jump. And I think the damage from that might have been enough. But Bradley now, he's looking for it. The Sunder is
BX
off.
whiffs. He whiffs the ultimate. He just missed it. Oh, Mallow walks away to see another day.
That was actually Maloy's purification beads. I think that just saved his life right there. But the same cannot be said for Air VX as he gets caught up into the Nox silent stun lock combination.
And that's one of the beauties about this Nox into the Chang'e. What's the term? Matchup? Because
I have a hard time with words all the time, don't worry.
Chang'e can dance out of Krakens, out of Rault, out of Thotholts, but when you're silenced, you actually can't use that.
And
shouts to Bradley.
Bradley's really discovering just how quickly even a support can fall to that combination. Just that sudden burst of damage. Well, I shouldn't say sudden, because it takes a hot second to charge up, but just the way that it was able to really come through, and you can tell that this is probably something that Duckbot feels really comfortable running into a Chang'e.
Yeah, what I really like here, I mean, the Nox and the Chang'e, yes, that's like a 10-1 almost. But what I liked about that kill on a Bradley was Duckbot drops to puddle, and the team combines to body block him in the puddle. That's a team that has scrimmed and practiced with the Nox before. I really like to see that.
I'm loving this Gold Fury called by Era Eternity. It's looking like Crisis has just spotted this out, and now they're trying to respond on the side of Naventic, but their good zoning ultimate from Maloy's is going to ensure that Era Eternity secures this one, but Beast Feast not willing to let it go for free. Picks up 1, picks up 2, Vapors in the back line. Now Sir Duckbot, no mana and nowhere left to go.
Oh, and he's looking for it. Beast Feast rolling trips. Give me the money. That's going to be 3 for Naventic. They lose the objective, but they win the ensuing team fight, down by about 1,300. Certainly a nice play for the big N. What I liked here out of Era Eternity was the positioning was, I loved it. Unfortunately, we're not far enough in the game for the players to be tanky enough for it to pay off, but you had the Monkey and Nox playing frontline, and that's kind of backwards, right? You want your tanky characters to be playing frontline, but the Monkey and Nox are the 2 characters with the zoning abilities. You drop the Fear No Evil, you drop the Silence Field, and nobody can really mess with you. After those are done, everybody can mess with you, and that's why we see a triple kill for the jungler. But I liked the theory.
I like the theory, and I would have to agree with you. I respect the commit, the call to commit by Era Eternity. As soon as you drop that Hunbat's ultimate, you are deciding then and there, this is the fight. We're taking this objective and we are trying to escape as soon as possible. Just didn't happen and work out because Beast Feast got the follow-up with that Susano. That mobility is insane. Even with the Amiral from Bradley being slightly off the mark, Beast Feast was able to teleport through because of his dashes, and just catching everybody on that backside so off guard. That was just well played by Beast Feast.
I'm going to say a statement. You tell me if you agree or not. I would rather see a team make that decision and pay for it than kind of wiggle wobble, and not really be sure of what to do there.
Execution over hesitation is always favored, in my personal opinion. So you can never really go wrong with committing. But when you're hesitating whether you should do this, because if they hesitate, maybe they lose the Gold Fury as well as a 3-man wipe.
Exactly. That's really what I was getting at. But big ultimates here. Fear No Evil going to give Coach Killy the opportunity to clean up eRa BX. And Bradley pops his ult to no avail, really just to avoid the crowd control from the monkey, not really looking for the damage.
Freeze was still on cooldown, but Vaporus has made the rotation. Coach Killy looking for the wraparound onto Bradley, but he's going to get just out of stun lock control from the Athena taunt. Same can't be said, though. He's still able to be found by Vaporus, and Mango Man finding the better end of this 2v1.
2v1, chasing down the monkey. Ooh, madness.
He needed just a little bit more mana.
Yeah.
And he would have dropped that tether, I think. No hesitation.
Mango Man is fun to watch because he's not always successful, but he's always trying to make those plays. He plays for the Jiffy Cat, and I like that.
Oh, speaking of fun to watch, Vaporus not having the most fun time at dual lane, but right now it's Mango Man who needs the assistance of Coach Killy to escape. And that will be Stunwave's ultimate. Yet again on the Sun Wukong, but with no objectives really on the table right now other than Portal Demon, I'd say that's a fairly safe ultimate to burn.
Yeah, not really a big deal. The Athena comes through and helps out his teammate, but nothing really to be too concerned about here in our 11th minute. eRa Eternity leading 5-3, as well as the gold in their favor, although be it slightly, just over 1,000, 12-12 to be precise. You know, in the Power Rangers game for Super Nintendo, 12-12 unlocks Megazord?
I did not.
Now you know.
I learn something new every day. That's all that really counts. But eRa Eternity trying to make game number 2 count and find the split. They don't want to go down quite yet with the 2-0 for the very first set in EU.
Yes, our inaugural week for European Console League, and Naventic were able to clean up not just game 1, but also the Portal Demon here, despite trailing in kills. eRa BX, what's he doing?
He's kind of just hanging around.
I thought
He wants to see if anybody's coming through that narrow passageway, but that's going to cost him some damage. And now Malloy's, the chase is on, getting CC'd out, but from downtown, Sir Dunkbot finds the ultimate onto eRa BX.
And Malloy's might pay for it. He's going to get hit by the jingle bang through the wall. But that's why I was asking. You can't stand around as an Aphrodite. You get put in the ground. Coach Killy might suffer the same fate. Bang! Bradley gets the kill thanks to the ultimate from the Ymir. And Motion's gonna get stuck, but he wiggles out. Beads used, the late beads used. But still, the beads used.
I think that he was concerned about Vaporus trying to come back in onto that one. And
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, no, that wasn't a criticism
no.
at all.
I know.
Yeah,
I was calling out for anybody back at home who's watching who's just like, oh, NA beats, or EU beats, I should say.
Or weekend beads.
It doesn't even have to be about him. He's just going to be getting brought up. And already another pause coming through for these for these guys. They're trying to sort some stuff out on their ends. And I do have to say, I think that this has been a much more heavily disciplined game from eRa Eternity, which is exactly what I wanted to see. And I'm hoping that they continue to persevere with this sort of discipline.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the key there is the discipline and the perseverance between the two teams and the ability to go just keep on keeping on. We got to see the stick-to-itiveness that we saw from the Gold Fury play. I really want to see more of that throughout the game.
And I would love to see that. I do think that Naventic got away with a bit of a cheeky Portal Demon, just pulling that right out from eRa Eternity. Not enough, I guess, map awareness right then and there. They probably had suspicions that it was going on, which is why we saw the engage come through immediately from eRa Eternity. But I got to commend Duckbot for that long-range Nox ultimate, and I think it really helped bail out Malloy's for a second there because he was getting stun-lucked out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was the key. And Malloy's, might have even gotten away, but long-range damage coming out from Sun Wukong, too strong. So with 13, hold on, this is one of my favorite parts. 13:37 on the clock, eRa Eternity keeping it lead.
I figured that 2032 would be your favorite part.
Yeah, that is my favorite part, but I think I've only been able to call that like once or twice. 13:37. That's the old school, type in upper caps and stuff.
I can definitely understand that, but That looked not fun for a stun wave on the Sun Wukong in that solo lane side.
No.
Mango Man is absolutely putting the beat down onto him.
That's what Mango Man does. He wants to outplay you. He will play for the outplay. Here he is under the tower, just ignoring everything.
He got what he wanted.
The ult.
But now he might return with his own ultimate if he gets a little bit more poke potential onto stun wave. And meanwhile in mid lane, not too much going on. I mean, when you recognize that there's 3v2, you never really want to try and take that engage as Nox and Athena, just because you never know who else could be trying to lurk around the corner.
Gold Series started, but it's more about the fight, Taco. They want to see the players that respond to the wall just off the money. Vapor was definitely going to be toasted if that wall was on the correct side, but a little bit outrun potential coming out from the Kernanos.
eRa Eternity have got to be careful looking to come into that Gold Fury pit area, though, because there's just so many potential avenues that could be cut off by Bradley's walls. And if one of those Amir walls separates or catches out the dashes from eRa Eternity, they're going to be in a world of trouble.
Yeah.
Because the follow-up will be almost instant.
Yeah, Malo the only one that can really jump over it. Outside of the Osiris ultimate, nice freeze is going to be answered with Malo's ult. Here comes Vapor and the rest of the team from the right-hand side. Still fighting by the enemy purple. Bradley in trouble, pops the ultimate just quickly enough to walk out of there and avoid the ultimate, but still gets turned into the pig. The wild hunt, Malo gets the kill.
And Beast, meanwhile, is trying to escape from Vaporish, who's been running him down. Crisis now expending his Medusa ultimate, trying to get away, but the Aegis is out, the chase is on, however, and it's looking like he's going to fall into Malois, no problem.
I love the performance coming out from Malo here. He, game number one, listen, he flubbed. It just wasn't his best performance. And bounce backs are, that's what I love to see. I never like to see someone that's just having a bad day, week, month, right? I like to see him, all right, he didn't do well in game number one, internalize what went wrong, and then he comes back and he's running this game, Taco.
I also just love the immediate decision by eRa Eternity. They don't go for the Gold Fury. They understand that it's still a little bit too risky with 4 members still being alive for Naventic, so just take the T1. We've got a creep wave available, and that's a free 500 gold.
The tier 1 is also so important when it comes down to subsequent Gold Fury attempts. That means that Naventic is not going to be able to go ahead and try the Gold Fury and then fall back on the tier 1 tower because it's gone. So every time Naventic looks at the Gold Fury, it's just a little less safe.
Great to open up the map pressure in that way, especially now since it gives the Humbats a little bit more freedom as far as of trying to find those blink engages. He is level 14, he has that blink available now, which will make things slightly, or I should say significantly easier for him to try and engage off with his ultimate.
17 here on the clock. eRa Eternity with a slight lead, just about 1,500. And really what they're up to is they want to decide when they make their mark. Nox is a very late game character, but everybody else kind of that mid to late game. Where do you expect to see eRa Eternity really make their strike?
Well, I think it's going to take them a little bit longer unless they find some very favorable team wipes, which they still can do. They have a ton of damage, and Coach Kelly right now forcing out the immunity from eRa. I love this play, but Bradley might be lurking right behind. I'm surprised he doesn't look for at least the freeze there. I think it's because he knew that the Humbats was rotating over.
Yeah, a little bit rough there. Here comes Mango Man by himself, but Malo up front already doing it. eRa won't be stuck, but will get hit by the damage out of the Nox. Here comes the wraparound. Good look for Novik, for Naventic, but if eRa Eternity can make this happen, this is a big play for both sides. Bradley makes it work, and this is going to look good for the blue team. eRa very low, so is Beast, but so is Mango Man, but he's turning it around on everybody else.
And the ultimate is going to come through for Coach Kelly. He's trying to re-engage with the rest of his team, but nobody to dash in and taunt on. Bradley relatively safe underneath this 2-2 tower for now, unless eRa Eternity decide otherwise to look for the aggression. I think it's the best bet to just fall back.
Yeah, well, there's freeze.
He might
Bradley
not
wants
get
to go
out
for
now.
more. Yeah, Coach Kelly can't. He's going to get controlled. He's already half HP, and even more damage coming out. That's a dead Athena. Oh, no, not if Mango Man has something to do with it.
Mango Man, but more importantly, Mango Man and Coach Kelly just trying to buy time while the other 2 members, Humbats and Kern, just securing that Portal Demon for free.
Easy. It's all a bait.
What's up, Sir Duckpot?
Right from base.
That's always the most convenient part as a mid laner. Don't have to worry about anything. You just walk straight through.
Yeah, just easy peasy. That's, again, just another one of the small victories for Era Eternity. Able to find these little pieces and just start building a sandcastle.
That initial engage was pretty awkward for them, though.
Yeah.
I do wish that Mango Man would have tried to utilize his ultimate in a way where he escapes, just buying Sir Duckbot enough time, because he was inside of him, and when he popped out, there were 3 people surrounding him, and he was 10% health.
That's what I mean. So my call was sloppy, but my point in my call was both of these teams, this team fight wasn't good for either of them, in all honesty. Gold Fury going the way of Era, but somebody made it work, and that was Era Eternity. After the Gold Fury, however, it's Naventic that's making it work. Beautiful ultimate for the monkey, but it doesn't seem to be enough as Beast is able to clean up another one. Vapor goes down.
They're getting a little disoriented now on the side of Era Eternity, and it's going to cost the Humbats his life. Era BX able to clean that one up, no problem on the Chang'e. And we committed them before when they went for this execution onto the Gold Fury and they committed. And yes, committing is still solid, but I think in this situation, I would have preferred to see them disengage and look for the team fight. They had the presence available to where they could have very easily found that team fight, and now instead it's going to be Coach Killy getting sundered, frozen, and plundered underneath his tower.
Well, my point was less about the commit onto the Gold Fury and just to commit to a call in general. A lot of these teams sort of waffle around, and that hesitation, like you said, execution over hesitation is always preferred. I love that quote. I want it framed in my living room. You nailed it. And right there, perfect example, execution of the retreat. Just don't, and that's what we saw. We saw the waffle. We saw a couple players back off, a couple players commit to the Gold Fury. Sir Duckbot unleashes the ultimate, and because of that split decision, we see the problematic situation afterwards. Naventic gets the team fight and a couple of towers.
As soon as you're expending a Nox ultimate to try and secure a Gold Fury, 9 out of 10 times that's probably a spot that you don't want to actually be in, because Nox's ultimate is just, it's not just for that, you know, Dragon Ball Z effect where you're trying to just throw out your spirit ball and see how many people you can hit, but it just provides such an aura that is so devastating for teams in a team fight because of everything that it takes away with power reduction, especially in the team fight. And I just am very surprised that Era Eternity will try to commit to that, but no surprise here on the commit to Stun Wave, completely locked down in that silence.
Yeah, he knew the Athena was coming. He didn't know the everything else was coming. Mallow being tended to in the jungle, but the tier 1 tower already falls. Naventic falling back onto the right side.
And immediately, Era Eternity looking for what else they could possibly grasp off of that solo pick. And it's looking like they're picking up Crisis from downtown yet again, Sir Duckbot. However, everybody's already so poked out from that Emir exchange.
But the perfect Nox ultimate allows the team to stay alive. The reduction of power means that nobody's hitting as hard as they want to, and Arabia's gonna get caught and bought. See you later. 13 kills for Era Eternity. That's a baker's dozen. And that's Sir Duckbot.
And I know
you were just talking about the power reduction.
That's what I'm saying. It just does so much in these team fight presence, because a lot of times people will try to secure with that Nox ultimate. And speaking of secure, Beast Feast might find himself getting secured as well, burning out his beads and Angus. It's not enough to escape from Vaporish, and already 3 members being dead still. I mean, Bradley's going to be spawning pretty soon here, but it doesn't even matter. Bradley is just not going to be able to do anything else, and unfortunately, it's just all starting to fall apart a little bit for Naventic.
Well, Era Eternity having a party. They're totally down. They want to take this game too. They want to find a split. 23 minutes in, 14-10. Era Eternity biting back here, previously slipping. Now finding themselves up about 2,000.
And I think that it's very strong looks for Era Eternity. They weren't able to secure that Fire Giant, and that's kind of unfortunate for them. But, I mean, winning that team fight in such a way, I'd say still 100% goes in their favor.
Stun Wave, he'll be able to bounce out of there no problem. But the rest of his team, I don't know. Naventic here getting sandwiched by Era Eternity. Fear no evil, but fear the monkey. And the ultimate coming out of Nox on the right side. In comes Crisis. Perfect play. But Vapor is the hunter that pays off, taking down Bradley.
And already it is doing so much work in this backline. eRa BX is not going to be able to survive much longer, but he is actually just getting out with the skin of his teeth. Beast Feast, however, same fate cannot be shared. He's going to actually find himself falling, and Mango Man, he's not willing to let this Chang'e go for free.
Nah, I mean, Mango Man's always been looking for the chase down, absolutely what he wants. But again, that's a fantastic team fight brought to you by Nox. The ability from that ultimate, just so strong.
That
so
40% for 5 seconds of damage reduction. That's insane. And eRa BX is feeling it now from the rest of eRa Eternity as they are just one by one locking down these members of Naventic. And we didn't see it the first time around that they went for it, but this time there was just no way that they don't try to secure this Fire Giant.
No, not at all. I mean, they're able to walk on through the portal, and eRa Eternity here, 3 players deep. They'll have a 4th with them in a matter of moments. All 5 here now have HP. Stun Wave, no chance.
If the members in Naventic keep all getting hit by this Nox ultimate, it's almost like a free shell for eRa Eternity, but not really.
I mean, it's the backward shell, right? Your output is not as good, and that's allowing eRa Eternity to escape by, tiny amounts of HP. Bradley falls down, nice control, easy. Done by eRa, and they're going to bark down the tier 2.
Probably a little bit of overkill, dropping the Humbat's ultimate on top of him, but it happens, and it's looking like it's about to be happening to Stun Wave, able to escape just in time with that Sun Wukong ultimate. Same can't be said for Beast Beast. Again, forced into his actives and just completely controlled and locked down. Sir Duckbot Meal on the backside trying to escape from eRa BX. Everything's already been used on Naventic, and nobody is dead yet for eRa Eternity.
One by one, Naventic walk into the death machine that is eRa Eternity. P.S. the tower's still up, guys. They get the wipe, but the tower's up, so they can't even go for the Titan, let alone the Phoenix. They have to kill the tower.
Look at Vapor's just tearing away. He's just completely shredding into these towers, and Coach Killy more than healthy enough to tank up this Phoenix. It's not gonna last much longer. Bradley, what are you doing, man? Your team's not there, and the freeze off the mark. Blink into your death.
Well, that's gonna be that. eRa Eternity slowly chip away, and Naventic give themselves to EE one by one.
I mean, I kind of understand it. He was just trying to buy a little bit of time, considering that Beast Feast and eRa BX were both